Picture yourself sitting in a comfy chair reading your favorite manga. You're reading an intense battle. The fight choreography is seamlessly flowing from panel to panel, where you can almost imagine it playing out in your head. Then you think to yourself, man, I would love for this to be animated. I can assure you, you aren't the only one that thought that while reading the manga. Today, I'm going to make an anime out of a manga that I really enjoy. Welcome to Anime Season Roadmap, where I take a series that either has an anime coming out, or has no anime at all, and make one season based off the contents in the manga. If you're new here, my name is Yuno, and now you know. If you enjoyed this video at any point, leaving a like will be appreciated. If you like this video, feel free to check out the channel, and if you like what you see, kick back, stay a while, and hit the subscribe button. Now on to the video. One manga I know for a fact that will get an anime soon is Sakamoto Days. Sakamoto Days is about Taro Sakamoto, the ultimate assassin, feared by many villains, admired by hitmen. But one day he fell in love. Retirement, marriage, fatherhood all came to him. And then Sakamoto gained weight. He is now a chubby guy who runs a neighborhood store. Suddenly, he finds out there's a large bounty on his head. Now he has to go back to the world of the assassins and find out who put the bounty on his head. This series is a beautiful blend of comedy, action, and heart. The action gives such an old school Jackie Chan film vibe. There are many fights where I can think to myself, my god, this needs to be animated ASAP. So, until we get a for sure announcement, because I know there's been rumors spreading, I'm going to take control here. I'll be the hypothetical lead director here, and I'll make a storyboard for each episode. Now, what studio will I get to cover Sakamoto Days? Personally, I think Bones will knock it out of the park. Studio Bones has been known for My Hero Academia, Full Metal Alchemist, Mob Psycho 100, and many, many more. Sakamoto has a lot of style to it, and one show that has the style ripped right out from it that Bones worked on is Soul Eater. This will work so well for Sakamoto Days, giving the goofy and epic nature of the manga. And you guys watch Full Metal and My Hero, you know that they're going to go crazy for hand-to-hand combat. The secondary studio I will pick is Wit Studios. They're known for working on Spy Family, which is a bit similar to Sakamoto Days, so I do believe they'll work great with that. Also, the way they handle Attack on Titan was marvelous. The third studio is Studio Shout. They worked on one of my favorite films, Legend of the Hay. The studio is outstanding when it comes to colors of the world. If it's one thing Sakamoto has in every single color spread, it's bright and vibrant colors. Now, how many episodes? I would say a good first season should be around 25 episodes. They could cover roughly 56 chapters, which I think is a perfect ending for season 1. Episode 1. So this episode would just cover chapter 1. Chapter 1 is a great opening for the series, getting the characters, the world, and the comedy beats all down, really setting the tone for the rest of the series. Episode 2. The second chapter will be covered with this episode. This is a bit more slice of life, but I can see it making it feel like Spy Family early episodes, with the amount of fun they'll have with it. Episode 3. This will cover chapter 3, and everything I said about episode 2 stands with this as well. Episode 4. This episode will cover chapters 4, 5, and up to 6 pages of chapter 6. This will bring Lou into the story. Chapter 5 was pretty action heavy, so I can see it getting wrapped up quickly. However, this will bring us to our first cliffhanger ending. The episode where we'll see Sakamoto go up against himself. Episode 5. This will cover chapters 6 through 7. We get the reveal of Nagumo and some information about the bounty on Sakamoto's head. Sakamoto's threatening the organization will be a perfect scene to have before the opening. Afterwards, we'll have our gang in the theme park. Some filler scenes will be cool here and there where we see Sakamoto take out assassins, and I think the perfect place to end the episode is where we get to see Shin get ready for a fight on the roller coaster. Speaking of opening, I couldn't think of anything right off the bat. The only thing that comes to mind when I think of Sakamoto Days is MASH's second opening, so maybe something of that vibe will work. Episode 6. This episode will cover chapters 8 and 9. Shin's fight will be a big moment in the series, where we'll have an extended fight, especially the bits on the roller coaster. The moments after the fight will bring in a lot of heart. We'll end this off inside of the haunted house. Episode 7. This episode will cover chapters 10 through 12 and 11 pages of chapter 13. Since there was a lot of action in these chapters, I'm pretty sure this episode will fly by. I'll start off the episode with a flashback of Boyle and Obigoro, leading right into the opening. The Shin and Lu fight will go pretty quick, and there will be a lot of focus on Sakamoto and Boyle's fight. I can see Sakamoto versus Boyle being one of the high budget quick fights, kind of like how Gojo and Miguel was in JJK Zero. The ending will have Sakamoto's wife yelling at him and Sakamoto saying, "I have an idea." Episode 8. This will cover the rest of chapter 13 and cover chapters 14 and 15. This episode will be lore heavy. This will be an introduction of the Order. We can learn a bit about the JCC and get more information about X. A good lore dumped after an episode of action I think is really well paced. Episode 9. This will cover chapter 16, leaving this as a standalone episode. I was going to skip this chapter, but I think this chapter is good to show how far Sakamoto is willing to go for his daughter. And also, we need more goofy episodes, so why not put this here? Episode 10. This episode will cover chapters 17 through 18. The introduction of Heisuke in the Airsoft Gun Tournament. These chapters were so much fun to read, and I can only imagine how it will go in the episode. It will bring a lot of fun. Episode 11. This will cover chapters 19 through 21. Lu has been kidnapped, and with this begins our biggest arc of the series so far, and the beginning of Shin's backstory. This episode will end with the T-Rex showing up behind Shin and Sakamoto. Episode 12. This episode will cover chapters 22 to 23. The T-Rex fight was quick, so I can see that happening in a breeze, but most of the episode will focus on Shin's past. Episode 13. This episode will cover chapters 24 to 26 and pages 1 through 3 and 14 through 16 of chapter 27. Sakamoto and Shin will fight the Doctor. Directly after, we'll see the encounter with Kashima and the Order. Sakamoto will land on top of Kashima and a small fight will begin between them. The episode will end with Shishiba and Osaragi leaving Kashima to Sakamoto, ending with Sakamoto saying, "Well, I hate guys like you who talk too much." Episode 14. This will cover pages 8 through 13 and 20 through 24 of chapters 27 and all of 28. This will switch POVs to Shin's fight with Seba, giving this fight the full episode so we can show how skilled Seba is, and with Heisuke coming in and assisting. This will end with Sakamoto saying 20 minutes, 5 should be fine. Episode 15. This episode will cover 29 to 31, and this episode will have Kashima's backstory in the beginning of the episode. I can see it lasting about 3 to 5 minutes before the opening of the show. Right after the opening, we get the beatdown of Sakamoto versus Kashima. I can see this fight being one of the highlights of the season, so I'm expecting a lot. The introduction of Slur will also happen in this episode, so I'm expecting big things in this. Episode 16. I will consider this the half season point, so a new opening will be showcased here. Still don't know what other opening I could use, so we'll just say we'll go with the MASH vibe again. This episode will cover chapters 32 to 33, giving us a lighthearted comedic fun episodes to begin the second core of the season. Episode 17. This will cover chapters 34 to 36, the introduction of Wu-Tang. These episodes will be so cool with the casino style. The colors will be so vibrant, the neon everywhere. I can imagine OST going crazy here too. Episode 18. This episode will cover chapters 37 to 38 and up to 15 pages of 39. Wu-Tang will introduce us to the death row inmates, Dump, Saw, Minimalist, and Apart. I will use their kills to show off and introduce the inmates, kind of like how they introduced characters in the original Suicide Squad movie. We'll also show the Order in this episode as well, having Takamura be introduced. This episode will end with Saw hitting Shin with the axe. Episode 19. This episode will cover pages 15 to 20 of chapter 39 and chapters 40 to 41. This will cover the full fight of Shin and Lu versus Saw. I can imagine this being super fun and lighthearted. Having the whole story as the inventory, Shin's new power-up, and Lu in her drunk state. This fight can be big. Episode 20. This episode will cover chapters 42 to 43, having the conclusion of Saw, then continue on with the action of Osaragi and Dump. The conclusion could play out within the first 7 to 9 minutes, and then introducing us to the fight, leaving the rest of the episode to the fight. Episode 21. This episode will cover chapter 44 to 45 and pages 1 through 16 of 46. This episode, we will be given the full fight of Nagumo versus Minimalist. I didn't want the fight to be broken up in parts. We just had to go through it seamlessly. Nagumo fight was pretty quick because my goat just slaughtered him, having this episode end with Sakamoto coming to save Heisuke. Episode 22. This will cover pages 17 to 20 of chapter 46 and chapter 47 to 49. I'll start the episode with pages 4 to 13 of 48 with a part flashback leading on to the fight. This episode will be very fast paced because of all the action we have, so I can see this being wrapped up in one episode. Episode 23. This episode will cover chapter 50 to 51. The Jaw Infiltration Arc. This will be the buildup of every episode we've seen so far. I'm hoping the introduction of Gaku will go crazy with him slaughtering the agents of the Jaw. Takamura coming in would be the perfect cliffhanger. Episode 24. This episode will cover chapters 52 to 54. I want a dark stylistic vibe to this episode with the amount that's going on. Starting off with Takamura versus Gaku. Sakamoto and Slur will have such insane tension going on with each other. The action in hand-to-hand will be highlighted to its utmost peak. And now the season finale, episode 25. This will cover chapters 55 through 56. Showing the aftermath of the big incident of the Jaw headquarters. Sakamoto and Shin getting on a plane to go to the JCC. I think this is the perfect cliffhanger to the season, leaving off with so much given to the viewers and having enough for them to come back. This is my roadmap of season 1 of Sakamoto Days, and if you like this video, maybe you want to see season 2, well, be sure to like and subscribe because that will definitely be coming out soon. If you want to see others, we have Kaiju number 8 coming as well, and we'll probably do My Hero Academia since that season is coming soon. So be sure to subscribe to the channel, hit that bell notification that way you'll know when it's out, and if you like the video, give it a like. If not, give it a dislike, doesn't really matter to me, and if you want to see more, you know where to find you know.